Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in for a second and let you know a little bit about today's live stream sponsor, DNA Funded. DNA Funded has very generous profit sharing up to 90% and 3 different unique challenge types. For those looking to get funded, they also have speedy payouts, unlimited trading days on the first and second phase of their challenges, a very wide list of different things you can trade with over 800 different assets tradable, and maybe the most important component, a very experienced team behind the whole operation. So if you're interested in learning more about DNA Funded, click the link, check it out, see if it's right for you, and make sure to do your own due diligence to see if what they have to offer fits your trading style. For 20% off, you can use code A1T20. Again, that will be 20% off any of their challenges you'd like to check out. Thank you again to DNA Funded for sponsoring today's live stream. Now back to the show. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another week in the markets. Thank you for being here with me on today's live stream. We do this Monday through Friday. If you're new to the show, then what we do during these segments is, well, it's in the name. We trade. We talk about what's happening in markets. We share analysis. I'll generally go over the trades that I'm in or looking at and getting in and sharing it all here with you. As we get started, if you could just make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. You know, if you hit the like button, what that does is it tells YouTube that you like this kind of content. It's kind of in the name. But if you hit the like button, our content will start showing up higher on your algorithm more likely. So hit the thumbs up button, do it for yourself if you want more of this type of content. We're going to be going over some setups, taking a look at indices, commodities, currencies, a little bit of everything. What's up, Bulent? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see everybody in the chat this morning. And hope you all had a nice weekend. The link doesn't work. If you're having issues with the, oh, I see why. There is not a space between, see the J and the use code A1T20. You just got to separate that out and then that should work. But yeah, if you're interested in checking out DNA Funded, maybe James, if you could drop that link for us, that would be awesome. And make sure to use that promo code A1T20, get you 20% off. Okay, so jumping right into things, we've got the S&P 500 back up here. Pretty impressive stuff, man. We talked about this on the Sunday video. You had the stock market, you know, the S&P make a push lower on NFP day. That was essentially, again, pushed back up. This is exactly what happened last NFP. The first Friday of August, when we had the NFP report, you had the exact scenario happen where jobs data was lackluster and the market said, we're going up anyways. On Monday, right? The following Monday, you had a big push back up. What's up, Web Trades? Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. Random Moss guy, whole bunch of regulars in the chat here this morning. Happy Monday to everybody. So what I'm pointing at is the fact that, you know, you have these Friday NFP sell-offs that are getting bought on Monday. It's kind of interesting. By the way, the stock box is really, really useful. I bought it a few days ago. Highly recommend to everyone. Bulent, thank you, man. I am very bullish on the stock box. Like, I think that product is Bulent. Screen capture in your mind right now what the stock box looks like. And I can't guarantee you anything, but as close as you get to a guarantee, it's going to be way better in a year's time. Just like the Edge Finder. The Edge Finder was bare bones compared to what it is today. Stockbox, same thing. It's going to get really, really cool. Just stick around. We have a tendency to just keep building cool stuff. That's what happens when you have really talented developers. You end up building really cool things. So I'm excited. The Stockbox is going to be a great product. Well, it already is, but it's still early days. The stock box is early days. The stock box useful for options, Aaron? Yes, I'm primarily when it comes to stocks. Primarily, I'm an options trader, and I use the stock box every day, just like the Edge Finder. Like on this channel, it's all about Edge Finder. It's all about gold, silver, stock indices, oil. But on my other YouTube channel, which some people don't realize that I have, it's a new channel. It's only got 3,000 subscribers. I use the stock box. Like stock box, in case you've never seen it, you guys ready? Check this out. Here's the stock box. Color scheme, top stocks. Like I love it. I love it. So these colors, Julie on our team, she does our marketing. She's also my sister. I hired her a long time ago. Great hire, by the way. You shouldn't hire friends and family in general, but I lucked out with my sister. But check this out. She picked the colors for Edgefinder. I loved them. And I said, okay, well, now we got to do stock box. I don't want it to be blue and red. And she came up with these colors. And I just think they look so cool. So yeah, she picked some pretty dang cool colors, not gonna lie. Also our website, right? You ever seen our website? Our website looks so cool. This is all, her design work. Look, I say this often, I'm just the pretty faces. I'm just the pretty face on YouTube that does the dances. We have some really smart people behind the scenes making it all happen, like the producers of this show and the editors and the designers of the software and the programmer, right? So like I said, I'm just the pretty face. That's what you guys get on the front side. Okay. So with that said, yeah, I think, okay, actually, can I ask you guys this? And I'm curious, I think James in the back booth, he's our producer here. He likes the stock box a lot. I'm curious what you guys think. Give me your honest feedback. Which color scheme is cooler in your mind? Give me like an EF or SB. Which one do you think looks cooler? The edge finder or the stock box? I won't be harmed. I won't be too upset either ways. But what do you guys think? I know James loves the stock box. Man is a fan of it. Me too. I don't know. I think like I gotta say, I think stock box looks cooler. I love edge finder, right? It's my first child. This is my firstborn, right? But these aren't actual children, so I don't have to actually love them equally. Blue is ugly? Oh, come on. You know why we chose blue and red, right? Come on. MT4. Not exactly. It's not the same color scheme. But notoriously in FX land, blue is profit, red is loss, right? And in stock land, it's very, very distinctly green and red, right? Christmas tree colors. But yeah, anyways, we're just dazzling at the cool colors this morning. Let's get into some charts. All right. What are we thinking? Okay, Mehmed, you can't spam it 10 times. That doesn't count. I don't know. It seems pretty even. It seems some pretty even distribution in terms of what people think. I think they're both cool. Gold, how long the F is this going to go up? You are not alone in asking that question. But I am so bullish on gold, man. Here's the problem, right? Now, again, and I say this, and I know a lot of people are short. It's painful. These are the types of learning lessons that really suck when you are short a rally like this and just begging for the thing to turn around. If this is you, trust me when I say I've been there. I've made those mistakes before. It's painful. Have you ever had investors come through trying to buy A1? Plenty of them. We've had a lot of people who are like, hey, is it for sale? And it's not for sale. You're buying my fun, right? If you were to buy my company, then what would I go do? I'd go be bored. Anyways, if you are short gold into this rally, Jonas says, would you get in now? Wait for a pullback. Definitely the latter, right? There's nothing I can do here. And this is the true testament. These types of movements, guys, are what test a lot of resolve for traders, because if you're short in these moves, then this is devastating, right? These types of moves, you're like, how can this possibly happen? How can this go up? And again, painfully, and I'm not trying to press on the wound, but this could keep going. Like you could go right to 4,000. If you think that is impossible, if you think, no, gold has to have a pullback, I'm telling you, don't hold your breath. It's really dangerous to make those types of assumptions. If you want to learn a really hard lesson, assume that markets have to pull back. They can go a lot longer. It's the old expression, right? The Warren Buffett expression, markets can remain irrational longer than most investors can remain solvent. It's something like that, right? Basically, markets can go up for a lot or down for a lot longer than people think is reasonable, right? So this could be, and I'm not saying like, oh, I think it's going to do this, but there's a realm of possibility where gold is making a run for 4,000 right now. If you think that's impossible, I've got another cool chart for you in the currency world that blew up a lot of people, which was the dollar yen in 2022. See this one, guys? Look at this. So dollar yen just moved and moved and moved during all the rate hiking stuff. 48% rise in the dollar versus the Japanese yen. Almost 5,000 pips in one direction with not very much pullback. This is a painful lesson that traders oftentimes learn the hard way, meaning they're just short on something like gold because they think, quote unquote, it's gone too far, it's got to pull back or it's got to reverse. You're in a monster uptrend in gold. Like, if you are not seeing that, right? These are then it's time to face the facts, right? If you are short on gold, look, could we see a pullback? Sure. But if you have no reason, like I had so many comments, guys, and I'm not saying this again. I know how painful it is. If you're caught in a short position, what I'm saying is like daggers. It hurts, right? But look, if you're stuck in a short position and you're like, holy junk, this thing is killing me, and I'm just hoping for a reversal, let's face the facts together. If you don't have a reason, if you don't have a strategy, a back-tested system that you've tested over and over and over, and you are now in a situation where you're like, what do I do? If you're ever in a situation in your trading where you say, what do I do now? You didn't prepare for this. And I hate to be I'm just the messenger, right? I'm not trying to make you feel bad or worse. People don't like to face the realities. I've been in the circumstance, so I know the pain that you're feeling. But if you're in that circumstance and you're sitting there and you're like, this thing is just melting up and I'm just praying for a reversal because otherwise I'm going to lose a lot of money, you didn't prepare for this dynamic. And you have to be prepared for some crazy, crazy moves in markets. This is why position sizing being small is not an option. It's a requirement to long-term successful trading, right? You're not a day trader, you're a swing trader? Yes, I'm a swing trader. I'm primarily a macro fundamental trader, and I primarily trade the 4-hour and the daily chart. So what I want to say is, if you're not in gold, right? If you're wondering what does gold do next, right? Nobody knows. I can't tell you with certainty what gold's going to do. I am bullish on gold. I have a reason and a plan to stay bullish on gold because I have a systematic calculation here that we use to determine if something is bullish or bearish. It's not a certainty. It's not a guarantee. But gold is getting a very bullish reading on the edge finder. It's melting higher. Economic data looks good. Technical data to the upside. Sentiment data looks good as well, right? Institutions are buying the heck out of gold. We talked about this in Sunday's video, right? Technicals look clearly bullish. All-time high breakouts are bullish. We've said this for years on the channel. A break of the all-time highs is usually bullish. I'd rather buy an all-time high than an all-time low. Why? Because an object in motion, what is the Newton phrase? I was sleeping during science class, but an object in motion tends to stay in motion, right? Simple concept. If you're short gold and you have no strategy or reasoning why, I think you really need to take a step back and reevaluate what you're doing. Because at this point, if you are just saying, please go down, that's not a strategy. That is hope, and that is gambling, right? Newton's first law of motion. There you go. Something in motion tends to stay in motion. It is present in markets. Numerous studies have found that momentum tends to be a strong factor in markets. So if I'm looking at gold, where do I sell it? You do what you want, but I don't sell gold when it's like this. This is not a, oh, where do I sell this chart? This is a, where do I buy this chart? Okay. We don't sell massive uptrends on my side of things. I look for buying the dip opportunities, and I'm not long gold myself, but I have a really good size position on silver, and I just trailed stops further this morning. Silver is running hot too. So if you're looking at silver, right, I trailed my stop just below. Look at this beautiful candle. Again, at support, we had buyers stepping in. You could see the signs on those wicks. Buyer stepped in, boom, up we went, back to the top end of this range. This morning, I trailed my stop right below this area, and I'm looking for a break through these highs as a catalyst for another possibility to trail stops. Gold is making me jealous. Man, telling you what, I feel that. Because if you're in these moves, then you're like, heck yeah, we caught it. If you're short these moves, you're devastated. And if you're not in these moves, you're frustrated by this. When the chart moves like this actually, I've said this in the past, these types of moves frustrate the most people. There's a small minority of traders who are loving it, who are riding it hot. Most traders are either short and in agonizing pain, or watching it drift away without them in frustration. Now, in this circumstance, I am fortunately on the ride. Like, I'm in the minority, I know, but I'm not always in the minority. There's a lot of times where I miss the move too. So I'm not going to, act like, oh, well, you should have just known what to do. No, sometimes you're going to miss moves, and that's okay. Like, the markets are still going to be here tomorrow, and all we can do is look for the next setup. If you're not in the metals move here, look, don't do something stupid. That's what most people will do. When they're missing the move, they're like, oh, I'm just going to buy it because it just keeps going up. And then that's when it reverses course. Or, just don't be that person. You have to wait for trades to come to you. And if you miss them, guess what? Trading's hard. You missed it. Move on. Find something else to trade. Do not chase. Do not fight the move. I mean, at the end of the day, you do what you want. But I'm telling you from my experience, those are both mistakes. If you short this thing, you will be furious if it goes up to 3,700 and 3,800. If you chase this thing, a mild pullback for the people who are in it, they're like, okay, yeah, a little pullback, that's fine. But if you chase it, a mild pullback crushes you. So it's a temptation to try and place trades up here. In my opinion, there's just not a lot to do. So again, you do what you want, but these types of moves are very prone for people to make big mistakes. They're shorting it with no stop loss, no strategy, no back test, and they're just like, please go down. That's a big mistake. And again, I'm not teasing you if that's you, because I've been in that circumstance too. And other people are frustrated that they're missing the move. And then there's some of us, and I am thankful and fortunate to be on the right side of this, who are in the move. Like I'm long silver. I've been trailing stops. This has been an incredible move. Did we see it coming? Debatably, kind of. We were bullish on gold and silver before the moves, because the edge finder was starting to flag, hey, we've got really good combinations of sentiment data, technical data, and economic data. All three of our categories were suggesting gold and silver could be ready to pop. And they did, right? So we can then start looking for the next setups. But that's what we do on this channel, is we talk about what's happening within the edge finder. We're looking at the economic data, we're looking at the trend, we're looking at sentiment, and we're combining all three to build a better trade plan. Again, trend is up, so there's no shorting, right? Trend is up. There's no buying because we haven't had a pullback. And you have to be patient. Have to be patient. So here's another example. The S&P 500, I'm pretty neutral to slightly leaning bearish on the stock market, but you won't catch me in any shorts. Why? This thing's in an uptrend. Things in a really strong uptrend. I can't short the stock market when it's in a strong uptrend. My rules just, again, I'm a momentum trader. So I'm looking for momentum to continue. I'm not looking to try and fight it, right? Please talk about Bitcoin. Yeah, so I have a short position on Bitcoin. It's not going so well. And if it does break through these highs, then I'm just going to take a loss and call that one good. Looking for downside on it, but if we don't get it, like I said, I'll just trail out. We broke this level of support and have been retesting it and finding sellers coming back in. So I'm looking for this thing to roll over. If it does, then great. I can manage the trade, look to trail stops on it. But if it doesn't, if we push through these highs, then I will close out the trade and just take a loss. I'm short IBIT, down 648 bucks on the trade here. So if that stops out, it'll just be a loss and I'll move on. The silver trade is just insane. Oh, I need to trail my stop on this side. Hold on. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this trail the same distance. So I want to go 5.8 from my entry. 5.8 is going to be right here. 36.64 is where I want to trail my stop to. Okay, confirm. Nice. Okay. And then this was our area of support where we found buyers once again. Now, if you're wondering, why am I trading SLV? For traders in the US, you probably already know that CFDs are illegal in the US. So I can't trade XAG USD, right? So I can't trade the CFD variation, but I can trade SLV, which is an ETF, or I could trade silver futures. I just prefer to trade the ETF. I've traded stocks my whole life. Well, my whole trading life, I should say, ever since I was a baby. I'm just kidding. But, you know, I've always traded stocks and I feel more comfortable trading ETFs than futures. Not that one is vastly superior. Holding costs on ETFs are very low, which is what I love as a swing trader. But we are sitting back at the highs. Trade is floating a really nice P&L. And if we can, like I said, so Bitcoin, if we break through the highs, I'll take a loss on this one. Silver, if we can push through the highs, then I will trail stops into profit further. We talked a little bit about the commitment of traders data on the Sunday video, but part of the reason I still really like silver and gold is because institutions are still really long gold and silver. Take a look at this, 80% long silver, 83% long gold in terms of a ratio basis. Big players are still on the long side. And one thing I really liked is on the latest buys and sells, take a look at silver. They added long contracts substantially and decreased short contracts. Really bullish activity going on under the hood. When we look at institutional activity, they're essentially buying silver. They're also buying gold pretty heavily, but really silver being the top of the list, I'm not complaining because silver is the one I chose over gold, which actually has been actually the better call of the two. Not in the last few days, but in the last few weeks, silver has actually performed really strong. I can show you this by looking at the XAU USD / XAG USD. And I think I'm going to add this to the Edge Finder because I want to add that ratio. I probably will do that. Take a look here. This is the gold to silver ratio. And what we can see is we do have some momentum forming to the downside here, right? So you have what was gold outperforming on for a little while, and now silver is actually outperforming. This chart going down tells you that silver is in control. Silver is outperforming gold. And so I think that is set to continue. I think silver, if you're going to get a real, if you want to see metals keep going, historically, you want to see silver outperform. Silver is the more volatile metal, believe it or not. A lot of people think gold moves more than silver. That is not true. Silver moves more than gold historically on its historical volatility as well as its implied volatility. Silver, pull up the options chain and you can see what I'm talking about. The implied moves for silver are almost always higher than gold. Take a look, for example, when we had the pandemic, right? When metals went parabolic, they went crazy. Silver outperformed. When you go back, let's see if we can go back far enough to get back to some of the other crazy moments, right? Here was, 2000 up to 2011, where you had just a metal Super Bowl movement. Silver vastly outperformed gold, right? In down periods for metals, gold tends to outperform. In really strong bull markets, like I'm talking about crazy strong bull markets, that's where silver can just play ball and just can go crazy. And so I am very bullish on metals, and I think silver could actually outperform gold. Now, granted, this chart going down does not mean gold, like if they're both going up, they can both go up, right? Gold could still do very, very well. I just like both, to be honest. Like I actually, if you ask like which one are you more favorable right now, silver, but I also like gold. So, to be honest, I like both prospects. Both are getting good bullish systematic scores within the edge finder. Gold is actually getting the higher score now. A couple days ago, it was silver. Now it's gold. So both are on my buy list. I know I keep talking about metals, but it's because these are where I have setups. I don't have anything on the index. I don't have anything on the S&P, the NASDAQ. I just have gold and silver, and I have some currency pairs that we could look at as well. Let's isolate here for just a second our major currency pairs and metals. So going into this week, I also talked about looking for an Aussie dollar breakout. Kiwi dollar push higher. I think that could happen. Pound dollar also looks good. Probably top of the list for me would be the Australian dollar versus the US dollar in terms of currencies. And then gold and silver. I am trailing stops on silver. If we get a pullback in both, I'll probably I'll probably buy both, to be honest. If we got a push back down towards this area, this would be an area for me to buy gold. For silver, would love to see a pullback if it happens to 39.25. Now, if that happens, would that mean, and transparently, I don't want metals to pull back because I'm long. But if they do, I can work with that too, right? This is what trading is all about, is recognizing that you have a plan for all scenarios. If metals go flying from here, I'm just going to trail stops. If metals drop hard from here, great, I can take profits and look for better prices again. This is what, when you get to kind of like maturity in your trading ultimately means that you're like, all right, market, you do what you want to do. I've got a plan for all of it, right? I don't know what the market's going to do. I just have a plan for whatever it wants to do. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, I've never been a military guy or a general, but I imagine that a great general, I'm a history nerd. So, I love listening about ancient Rome and all these stuff. Well, great generals, they always had like plans and backup plans and essentially very if-then statement type dynamics where whatever would happen, whatever the opponent would be doing, they had some way to adapt. And the greatest generals, not only did they, have a plan for everything, if something went terribly wrong, they were very good on their feet too. And I think trading in some ways is very important to have a really strong game plan for whatever happens. So with metals, if they want to drop, great, I'll take profits and look for a chance to get back in at better levels. If they rip higher, I will continue to let this become a bigger winner in the account, and I'm not going to cap my upside on the metals. Like, I'm not taking profits here. I'm just trailing, which sometimes trailing stinks because sometimes you trail stops just to give back profits. Sometimes you trail stops and you get one of these moves. This is rare to get these kinds of follow through moves. Most of the time, the market does do this, right? Most of the time, it does not give you this kind of move, which this kind of move, that's where I make the majority of my profits, is when I'm right about this kind of move. So right now, these are moments where essentially the account is making money. There's other times where I'm giving it back, right? Hey, Nick, is the RSI looking worth looking at? So straight up, I love the RSI. I always have. It's a simple indicator. I use it for pullback opportunities in trends. I don't think the RSI is very good when you're trying to fight a trend. I think the RSI is great when you're just looking for pullbacks to either enter into a trend. And it's not this simple. It's not just like, oh, RSI oversold, buy it. But I use the 4-period RSI to help me with managing my stop placements. It's a simple trick. I did a video on this recently. Chandler or James, maybe one of you guys, I think it was Chandler that made this video, but I did a video recently where I talked about like stop placement, or no, I did my support and resistance videos. That video that I did the other day, if you could grab the link to that and share that for this question, that would be great. I did a video talking about how to spot support and resistance levels and why I actually really like the RSI. Yes, that lagging, horrible indicator that's so useless is a great tool for finding support and resistance levels. It's like ironic. The lagging indicator is great for helping to spot support and resistance levels, which are, by the way, also lagging. Everything technical is lagging. That always gives me a kick. People are like, oh, indicators, they're lagging. Everything to the left of the chart is lagging. If you use price action at all, it's lagging. Okay? You're waiting for it to materialize and looking in the rear view mirror. You're not looking in the forward. You're not looking through the windshield. Price action is backward looking. Again, doesn't mean it's useless. I still think it's useful, but it is backward looking, and so are indicators, and so is price action. Everything that's price related is backwards looking. There's nothing wrong with indicators. There's nothing wrong with price action, but they each have a place, right? Curtis, me too. Nick, what do you think about including the risk neutral probability density function inside the edge finder? I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure, Samuel, what that is. I'll have to look it up. RSI is good. Yeah, I love it. The RSI is a really simple tool that I use primarily for stop placement and for support and resistance levels. It's a nice little trick. The most leading indicator that I have come across is fundamental analysis, because just like a great storybook, you can sometimes see what's coming. The fundamentals are the story of the market. Okay. At the end of the day, what the jobs data is doing, what inflation is doing, what PMI's data, these things are telling us a story about what the economy is trending towards. In my opinion, fundamentals are very forward looking if you truly understand what they're telling you, right? Now, forward looking does not mean guarantee and predict the future. Forward looking means they have a good probability of helping you to determine what could be coming down, like what's probably going to happen, not certainly going to happen, right? Fundamentals, the most forward-looking thing I know. Genuinely, fundamentals lead in terms of what is likely to come down the pipeline. Okay, guys, we've got the show being handed off here in just a second to the one and only Ivan FX. Before we do that, I just want to mention, if you don't have a copy of the Edge Finder, we're doing huge discounts right now. It is currently 45% off for stream viewers. If you don't have a copy of the software, and by the way, we showed off the stock box earlier, we are also doing it there as well. 45% off the Edge Finder or the stock box if you're a stock person and watch my other channel. Check it out. You can find all the information about that by sending us a direct message on our website. This will connect you to a real person. The reason we do this is because we also know that some of you guys, I had some comments over the weekend. They were like, I had two people who commented from places. One was from India, one was from South Africa. They said, I'm a huge supporter of your work. I love the Edge Finder, but I just can never afford it. Thank you for what you do anyways. And listen, if you are somebody who wants a copy of the Edge Finder and you are in a place where the dollar is really expensive, we still want your business. And to do so, we've made it more accessible to people. We have discounts that we do for people in places where it's very expensive, where the dollar is very pricey. And we also offer payment plans to help split things up to make it easier. So we still want your business, even though, yes, the Edge Finder is expensive maybe in your local currency. We have been trying to do some more accommodative pricing for people where the dollar is just outrageously expensive. So send us a direct message if you want to take advantage of the huge discounts that we're doing, or hear about some of the inclusive discounts that we do for people in places where the dollar is really pricey. With that said, up next, we have Ivan taking over the stream just after this quick break. Stay tuned. Hey, stream viewers, if you're outside of the United States, I have a cool offer I want to tell you guys about thanks to our partnered broker, 8cap. 8cap is currently offering the ability for new depositors to get access to our premium tool, the Edge Finder, completely for free. Now, how this works is basically you create an account and deposit a certain amount of money into that account, and they will essentially buy the Edge Finder on your behalf. So it's a win-win-win. They get a new client for a reputable brokerage, you get access to the Edge Finder and a great brokerage to trade with, and you'll be supporting the show by signing up with 8cap. Now, here are the steps if you want to find out more about this specific offer, but make sure to follow them specifically as we list them out on the screen here. Step 1, navigate to a1trading.com/8cap. That's a1trading.com/8cap. Step 2 is to follow the instructions and to make sure you use the specific link on that screen to sign up for your new 8cap account. Step 3, complete the required deposit amounts and contact their team as instructed on the page. So if you're interested in finding out more about this offer, head over to a1trading.com/8cap, and we'll also be dropping the link to this down below in the live stream chat as we speak. Like I said, make sure to follow those instructions specifically if you'd like to get access to a free copy of the Edge Finder if you meet the deposit requirements as listed on the website. Full information, like I said, can be found a1trading.com/8cap. Now back to the stream.
For everyone who has been in the Discord VIP mentorship meeting this morning, raise up your hand. And what am I going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to talk about what? Dollar, yen, S&P, gold, you name it. But more than anything else, we need to help this community, if there is in need, to become a better trader. Not financial advice whatsoever, but what we discussed yesterday in the group, and on the recordings yesterday, I said I did not like the dollar positioning. It was too low or too high, depending on where the dollar falls on the currency pair. And I said, hey, chill out. Guess what happened when the market opened? Dollar yen, that I thought, well, we can probably look for a pullback here. I don't know if I like it. I probably won't take it. I didn't. And it went absolutely 80 pips above my initial thought of a process of an entry. And I said, whoa, chill out, mate. I ain't going to do that. That's about having a plan, didn't execute on it, but having a plan, follow up on a plan, sticking to the plan, and not racing and running after the market. I also said dollars, euro dollar, pound dollar, New Zealand dollar. I don't like the current trading environment. And guess what happened? It went absolutely bananas overnight. What do we do about that? Nothing. We wait for the pullback, because I said yesterday, I want to see a new higher high, and I want to see the pullback. So not all I do today, but I really want to see a pullback. And that's the power of having a clear plan, having a clear decision-making process. Don't let yourself be fooled and doomed by gold. I saw someone says that they sold gold earlier, and I'm like, okay, tell me your reasoning for that. And I hope it's more than just a technical analysis, because as we promote for this channel is there is more to there's more to the story than just technical analysis. And I have said, and I didn't trade, that I would like to buy 3280, sorry. About down here, that's about 1st of August. And then I probably would have been a part of that. I probably should have bought here as well. But I really want great, strong support before buying. I don't want to be in drawdowns or drag down or whatever that is about. And then it went higher. It's all about planning. It's all about being ahead of the curve, ahead of the market. Don't react to the market, because what's going to happen now? Well, I can always make a fun little plan here. We can put a imaginary entry, stop loss below previous low, and then we say, okay, until forever then. How is that going to play out for us? And Of course, nobody would like to buy here or sell here or anything, but my point with it is what and where is your overall strategy? Where is overall your plan? And since I don't have any entry here, I can't enter because it's way too high. So how do you then work against your FOMO? How do you work against your emotions? How do you work against because I have traded FOMO. I have ran after things and I have run after price and market and whatever. What always tend to happen, always, it hits your stop loss. And if you look at your statistics over time, you take a grab of your history, you look through your history, you look through your trades, you look through your exits, and you're like, why did I do that? Self-control. Who said my name earlier? Curtis? Somebody called me Yen Man. But yeah. Cat dollar yen is definitely on the move. Yes. And for my trade setup situation, I probably should have sold up there. I was asleep. Like resistance wise, and I think I said something in the direction of it's unlikely, but it can happen. And the unlikeliness happened. And now this pullback, I'm just going to remove it. This pullback, yeah, it's okay. But again, overall, is a range. And I need more strength on yen. I need more, okay, strengthening it, good enough. I need it to be stronger, basically. I need it to trend higher. I need to be strong, independent. Then I can probably take a pullback. And I think so. I traded pound yen in a range, and I saw that later, and I like, I probably shouldn't do that again. The sole reason for this is Japanese yen futures, by the way, the 6J1 exclamation. I can also do the yen basket just to show you that this is all the major yen pairs against yen and aggregate it into some kind of index to show the core, or at least try to show the core yen current move. But okay, cool. So is it better for gold? Is it better to wait for gold is in the price discovery mode? Basel? Let me think about that for a moment loudly. Now, you as a trader, you as a professional, what are you? What is your competitive advantage? Where do you, not only stop looking at what market does and should do and could do and has been doing? Okay, we are high. Okay, what then happens? We can take the SP500 fat matter. Do you buy now? Do you generally think this is going to go higher? Or should you have bought Friday, for that matter? Should you have bought second Tuesday last week? Was that a great buy for you? The only way you can answer that with confidence, without having a lot of emotions, have you done it before? And have you consistently, profitably done this before? And I haven't consistently over time traded gold profitably, buying very high. I'm very careful on gold. I'm very careful on high volatility manipulated assets. There has been some CFTC has been sending out some fines over the years over manipulation in the metals market, previously at least. And I can't say that, hey, that is no longer happening. So I'll be very, very careful in the sense that I want only a specific level or specific setup on a level, and then I leave everything else. Because why do I trade gold? Why would you trade gold? Why is the purpose of trading gold? Is for the sole purpose of hedging your other assets, your other positions against stock market for that matter. And do you then have those two in combination? Then sure, that's up to you. But trade gold for me personally as for money gain, trading gain. No, I am unable to trade that profitably. I do apologize for that. But okay. So Toby was in the meeting yesterday. She was here this morning. Can you testify how on a scale of 1 to 10 how great it was? If 1 is horrible and 1 was great. The reason why is I thought it was okay, but again, I can't say anything at all if it has no impact whatsoever on you as a trader. Pound, I said I want deeper pullbacks, and again, where is this setup? Where is this support? And as Nick talked about earlier, I have this support double bottom or a bottom, higher high, higher low. That's going to hold on forever. That is, if you find those support levels, it's going to hold on forever. If it comes down again to 134, is that even possible? I don't think so. Okay. What is the next mode? Trend trading. And then that's the next level of support. Didn't get hit. We have made a higher high. Then we have to use that as a level of support. And that is where not a lot of traders, but I found a lot of market move says a lot of market movers or retail traders are thinking this is great support and resistance, only to find we have moved very far away from what should be the entry. And this is just liquidity grab. So buying here on a setup wise, it's probably not my favorite thing to do in this entire world. Slightly same thing for New Zealand. Again, I've identified the strong support down here. It was available on Thursday last week. NFP came out horribly weak, not dangerously weak, but I would argue quite a lot. So, what do I mean by horribly weak? I mean we are below the average 3 data points in a row. And that is, for those who has been through my lectures, is 3 data points is what you need to create a new trend. So now we are consecutively 3 data points about 14, 19, 22 area, far below the 200 average, 220, 225 average, and it's not really looking great. Okay, that is New Zealand dollar, US dollar higher. Okay, again, where's your pullback? And that's about 58 to 53. That's about 100 pips. It looks like a lot more pips, but it's 100 pips different. Okay. Where is your next support level? Is it like everyone else can see? Is it here? I think it's a weak one. Is it here? Okay, it's a bit better. But again, that needs substantial reverse patterns. Now, what can drive this? What can drive it? It can be as easy as a number saying, a data point saying that we're quite strong. But what about CPI on Tuesday? What about PPI on Thursday? Tuesday, Wednesday. I mixed it up. Tuesday, CPI, Wednesday, PPI. What about those? Can that make anything difference? Yes, it can. And if CPI comes in much higher, and not just a little bit, but a lot higher, that could send this one lower. And that's your opportunity that you're looking for. I talk about patience sometimes. I talk about intent. I talk about what do you see in the market that could send things into your direction. Let it come to you. Don't force it. Don't chase it. And if we do the same thing as on gold, then we think, okay, what about 100 pips surplus? Will we survive? Will we not? And that's the starting point of having an idea, whatever your idea is. You start with an idea, you test it out, you see on Friday, okay, were we right, were we wrong? Okay, more meat on the bone, more information. Use the edge finder, use, for that matter, others, use me, use Nick, use whatever available source, use, of course, use the central bank if you can understand the monetary policy document, or ask somebody else to interpret, or even ChatGPT or something. Add more information until you have solid fundamentals of this. Over time actually makes you more profitable. Now, they say knowledge is king. They say that, okay, once you have information, you can take advantage of it. And in this situation, sorry for talking so much about it, but I really want you to be careful, not careless, patient, and more than anything else, you are in control. You know what's best. You have tried and tested this, or you should try and test this until you become blue, purple, and yellow. And then you put it into life. So these are my initial trade setup theory ideas, and then we will have to see if CPI comes out higher than expected. That could, of course, because Bollout says there's something fishy about the narrative of 90% cutting. We might see a surprise from Powell. I don't think Powell is going to do it, because Powell surprised me after Jackson Hole. So he is quite concerned about the labor market at the moment. But of course, if we get a high CPI this week, that's gonna, let's say, change things a bit around. So going forward, I want dollar yen, for that matter, lower. I want a trend. I want it to break out. For New Zealand dollar, I wanted to have a pullback. For pound, which I don't seem to grab, other than we are late. Okay, we should have been down here buying it. That's the same setup, by the way. And now we're turning into a more of what can I call it? A more of trend trading. That means we need to come back down at a support of some sorts and then continue higher. Pound, which has it's not expecting to do anything next week, or sorry, in the next meeting, and it has a very high inflation at the moment, 3.7, as far as I remember last time, at least. So that should give it some drive. Now, I have mentioned this many times in the meetings, but again, sorry, I mentioned yesterday, but again, so we have one meeting 11th of September with the ECB, this one here, but we have 17th with Bank of Canada, we have 17th with FOMC, we have 18th with Bank of England, we have 19. That's 19 with Bank of Japan for the 19th. So there's 4 in monetary policy meeting. Sorry, in about 2 days or so, 17 to 19. And then again, and then another one with 25th for the Swiss National Bank. And what does that mean? That means that market is going to position itself coming into those meetings, and that's what we currently are doing. And if you look at the cumulative rate bank changes recently, we're seeing that the Bank of Japan now is kind of coming higher, and everyone else is like a cut, pause kind of phase. But the difference now is that Bank of Canada is likely to cut either this meeting or the next meeting, given the quite low and weak labor market data that came out on Friday. I even get back to when Powell reverse stance and shocks the market. Again, I want to say the only driver there is CPI. But then you would see that in the market. The market will literally reverse everything. Whatever dollar weakness we're seeing now, it's not going to be happening anytime soon. That probably going to be like 100 pip move if that happened. If CPI is so hot and PPI is so hot that it literally wipes out the rate cut probabilities for September, that is possible. I'm not saying it's not against. I'm just saying it's hard fetched at the moment, and but it's possible. I mean, also that yes, labor market is weak, but CPI hasn't weakened. It's still rising. The only question is when is it going to weaken after the tariff shock? That's all. Somebody asked for oil. I said yesterday from market open we were going to go higher. I do not know what has happened in the past minutes or two that there is more news on the forefront, but I said bullish. Now, or it would go higher because we had on Friday seen reports that Saudi wanted OPEC to OPEC Plus receives an updated oil compensation plans for members. So there's something about Saudi cuts Arab light crude by $1 barrel to Asia for October, and Saudi cut prices for crude to Asia. So oil crude grade, sorry, for Asia in October. So that's $1 down. But why is it falling more than $1? So if somebody can keep look on the news a bit for me to tell me, then that would be great. But that is a news event that I wasn't about yesterday. So in my head, I thought, what about higher? Not that much, but give it and take. And it is currently bearish. It is currently, and I think I'm starting to, seems like I'm always bullish on it. Now, US inflation, US oil is very linked and correlated with each other. With a lower inflation leads to lower prices and also higher demand. Sorry, more supply also lead to lower prices, and the demand is generally speaking quite stable. Generally speaking, it doesn't change a lot from day to day, but give or take, it is what it is. I'm just double checking. Can't trade anything there. Euro dollar. Yeah, need to have a pullback. 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 That is last week's trade idea. This one was just a trade idea. Didn't do it, and I wanted to come down to 65.30. Didn't. Okay, that is what it is. Rafael says it's a good place to short pound New Zealand. No. Well, I'm not going to give you trade advice whatsoever, but in the name of support and resistance, I would say that level there is way better. And now you are at a low. So I would have to say you have probably some days to wait. Trying to sell bottoms, supports like this can lead to this, or supports like that can lead to that. You can also be so lucky that you are in a support and it just falls like that, but that is not profitable over time. So it's a good place. I wouldn't. I would wait a couple of days. But totally up to you. Don't let me stop you. But I don't have profitability selling these kind of positions. S&P 500, again, I really wanted to come lower in September. I still haven't got it low enough. We got something on Friday that was like % or 2. I want negative 5% lower. And a Nasdaq, the same thing. Euro, not pullback. Aussie, no pullback. Pound, no pullback. Dollar Swiss, I can't. Dollar CAD, I don't know. You guys give me grief. Dollar CAD and dollar yen, break lower, give me a pullback, give me something trendy, not these ups and downs back and forth all the time. All right, that was my time. I love you, family. I'm looking for dollar bearishness. I'm looking for yen strength. Currently, at all happening. Waiting to buy yen pairs around 15th of September. And if that is the high, then I need to change everything that I'm doing. But right now, I'm waiting a bit more. Patience is the key, because that is, generally speaking, what has been my winning formula. All right? Boom. See you.
Thanks for watching today's show. Remember to subscribe if you're new and to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. If you're looking for more free trading content, consider joining our Telegram channel, linked in the description down below, or find free courses, prop firm discounts, and broker sign-up perks on our website a1trading.com. That's all for today. We'll see you back tomorrow.